Hey friends, Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to guide you through some interesting and innovative cap ideas I've been playing with. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friends of the channel, Lane Machinsky and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you both so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. All right, so POI caps. CAPS stands for Continuous Assembly Pattern, and there's a whole lot of them out there. For the most part, when people think about caps, they're thinking about these patterns right here. This is what's called a C cap, where I'm just moving my hands back and forth along a C-shaped path and switching the POI back and forth between anti-spin and extension. This is not the only application for caps, though. In addition to C caps, we also have S caps, where we can move our hands back and forth in an S-shaped hand path. And as I pointed out in a past video, we can also think of 1.5s as being a type of cap. Namely, a type of cap where we're switching back and forth between a move that is supposed to be a 3-beat move versus a move that is supposed to be a 2-beat move. Which, of course, the venerable C cap that started the whole cap craze also happens to be a type of cap that moves between a 3-beat move and a single beat move. That is, when I'm doing the extension side of it, I'm really just doing a single beat move. There's only one point where the POI goes below my hand. And when I'm doing the anti-spin part of it, it's meant to be half of a 4-petal anti-spin flower, in which there are 1, 2, 3 downbeats, that is points where the POI goes beneath my hand. So we go back and forth between a 3-beat move, 1-beat move, 3-beat move, 1-beat move, just like we do when we're playing around with our 1.5s here. Which, if you want to catch up on a couple years worth of tech POI goodness, I will go ahead and leave links to the videos where I was exploring these ideas so you can catch up on them down in the description, as well as up on screen in the cards if you're watching on YouTube, and this little QR code down here that you can scan if you're watching this on a television. But as I was playing around with those 3-to-1 caps, something jumped out to me that I hadn't considered before, and that was that though those caps were moving back and forth between 2 different patterns that had different number of downbeats to them, it was also possible to go back and forth between different types of POI patterns that have the same number of downbeats to them. Unfortunately, this does not result in a zillion different permutations or combinations like the 3-to-1 caps do. In fact, there's really only 2 options here, because we're basically moving back and forth between moves where the POI can be pointed inward on the sides versus outward. So I want to take you through 4 different POI moves right quick that are all single downbeat and show you how they can mix and match with each other. First and foremost, we have extensions. Now, as I'm doing this extension, which, again, it's a single downbeat move, and basically the POI is an extension going out from my arm, note that the POI is outside of the hand path on either side. That is both on my left as well as on my right. It's pointed out away from me. Now, if I switch to doing a vertical linear isolation, once again, this is a single downbeat move. There's only one point at which the POI goes beneath my hand, and it happens to be at the very, very bottom. Now, unlike the extension, I'm now working in a place where both on the left as well as the right side, the POI is pointing back inward towards body center. Next, and this is going to be really challenging, I'm going to try and do a horizontal linear isolation. I'm not going to get this perfect, but the intention is basically to have the POI head moving back and forth in a straight line horizontally as my hand traces out a big circular hand path, like so. Now again, just like the extension, you'll note that when my hand is on either side, the POI is pointing out away from my body. Now the final pattern is really, really, really difficult to keep going permanently, but I'm going to try anyway. This is a point isolation. And the idea here is that you're trying to keep the POI head locked in the middle the entire way around. Generally speaking, we don't do full reps of this. We'll use it, for example, as a way to go through half of a circle, whether it be under or whether it be over. But nonetheless, just like the vertical linear isolation, this involves keeping that poi head straight towards body center when the hand is on either side. So because gravity is unfortunately a thing, I know it's a problem, I'm working on it, we really only have two ways that these four moves can be combined together, because after all, if I'm performing an extension, there is absolutely no point at which the poi is pointing inward, and therefore there is absolutely no way that it can be combined with a point isolation. Likewise, when I'm doing a point isolation, the poi is always pointed inward, and so there's no point where it can be combined with an extension. Likewise, when we talk about the movements of both these vertical linear isolations as well as horizontal linear isolations, we need points in them both when they're pointing inward as well as outward. So we can only mix and match those patterns that match the inward facing points and the outward facing points on the side. Which those two options are, drum roll please, number one. Yeah, for those of you out there who are already familiar with this pattern, this probably feels a little underwhelming. This is just commonly referred to as a pendulum, or if we're going to get real spicy about it, an extendulum. That is, the hand is moving around the same path that it would if it were performing an extension, but we always keep the poi dangling beneath our hand. But yeah, technically we can think of this as being a cap. We can think of it as switching back and forth between an extension and between a linear isolation that is the horizontal one, because once again they match up with the poi pointing out to either side. Our other option, which is a bit more exotic, looks like this. Essentially, we take a point isolation across the top and we do a vertical linear isolation across the bottom. Once again, my hand is tracing out the exact same path that it would if I were doing the other version of this, that is the extendulum, but now the poi is always oriented towards the middle on the sides. So what exactly can we do with this knowledge? Well, I'd say the first thing is to learn all these patterns in all the different modes of timing and direction. So you've probably already done the work of learning how to do your extendulums in together same, as well as together opposite, as well as probably split time, same direction, and of course, split time opposites, right? And if not, well, you should catch up on that, yeah? And of course, we can learn all four modes of timing and direction with the other one-to-one cap as well. So we can start off in together time, same direction. And then learn together time, opposites. Split time, same direction. And split time opposites. So I know there's not as much to learn here and the results are a little underwhelming, but I think the true potential here comes in the form of hybrids that use one of each pattern together. So for example, as I'm playing with these extendulums here in together time, same direction, I can just as easily swap back and have one of my poi doing the inside version, that is the point isolation versus vertical linear isolation version. And all of a sudden there's a really cool interference pattern that comes out of this. Likewise, when I do it in together opposite, that same kind of cool interference pattern effect shows up as well. I'll be honest with you, I'm still not entirely sure what's going on in split time, same direction, but I think it still looks cool. Likewise, split time opposites has a really cool effect to it. Yeah, I'm a fan of all of them. So this is definitely not essential learning if you're a poi spinner, but I do think that it's still cool, and I really like the fact that there's still stuff that I'm uncovering as I explore caps. So I hope that you enjoy exploring them too. And never fear, there is actually one more video coming on this subject as I dive deeply into the world of caps. So keep your eyes peeled because this one is a real weird one. Thanks so much for watching. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find it and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible were it not for the kind support of all of these awesome people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon. They and the people listed down in the description help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Thank you one and all for your very generous support. If you out there watching are interested in learning how to support my work too, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, but even better than that, you'll be helping me out in my mission of bringing poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. So go check that out, please and thank you. And to get the skinny on all the cool work that I've been doing with caps, I'll go ahead and leave a link to a playlist of those videos down in the description as well as up here on screen if you're watching on YouTube. The YouTube algorithm also thinks that you might like this top video here based upon your past viewing habits, so maybe give that a look as well. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Peace.